instances of paranormal phenomena have been reported in this desolate place. Events that may reflect the area's tragic past.
Through.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Other Dangerous Podcast, where we talk all things paranormal. I'm Ken James, and this is Jason McKittrick.
Hey, folks.
And if you can haunt, howl, and dwell in the dark, we are probably talking about it. And welcome back.
Welcome back, folks.
Little summer break there, unintentional. It happens. Summer's busy.
Got two busy guys here.
Yeah, and you know they go, summertime living's easy. No, it's not.
It is.
It is not. And, you know,
it's fucking hot is what it is.
It's fucking hot. And also, there's so many events and so many different things. And everything gets more expensive because summer goes up, people travel, gas goes up. You guys know how it is. You live life. You live life. Yeah. And if you don't, you're not listening. So you get it. You get it because you're alive. but we're back. Hopefully, you know, pending anything else, we'll be consistent again. A couple more announcements to be made eventually. But before we get into all of that, and before we get into tonight's topic, which is Area 51. Area 51, we're going to go over all the fun interstellar stuff, the terrestrial stuff, and maybe some conspiratorial stuff.
Maybe.
I mean, that's a little bit of it, right? That's a little part of it.
That's a big defo.
Okay, big defo. Maybe Zip Zap and Leap Clip show up. We don't know. But before we move on and get into Area 51, I will bring you tonight's Jump Scare. Alright guys, hot off the presses. Good friend and loyal listener of the show. Things involved with this, we'll call him Mike B. Last night I'm going to bed. I'm trying to sleep. Get a text around midnight, a little after midnight. Bro, if you're awake, call me. If not, sorry, bro. So I sit there, I'm like, getting comfortable. Let me text him back. So I text him back, hey man, in bed with the wife. Why don't you send me the gist so I remember in the morning to call you back get the goods off you. He says, too much to text. You know, I gotta convey this via phone call. Text isn't gonna do this one justice. So it gets me pumped, right? So all right, this morning, drop wife off at work. Boog gets to work, Beeb gets to work. I pull up in front of my job, I'm lighting a cigarette, I'm like, time to call Mike B. Call Mike B. Let me set the scape for you guys. My man lives in Philadelphia, in the city, near Center City. And he's partaking in some extracurricular activities.
What kind?
Oh, he can't smoke a blunt in his apartment, so he goes out.
Okay.
You know, he's maybe partaking in some spirits as well, and we over here at Other Dangerous Podcast, we're no stranger to those.
No.
So he ends up, prefacing this with, he's a fan of watching the guys that come and they clean the drains out. Because he likes, he likes watching, you know what, I get it, because I like watching machinery at work doing its thing. It's almost satisfying to see them pull the stuff out of the storm drains and everything, clean them out. So he's watching them. They're there. This is actually around midnight because I guess it's a night crew. So he walks up to him, and these guys obviously work for the city. And he walks up to him and he's like, "Hey," while smoking his blunt. "Hey, do you guys mind if I record you? Because it's just, I just enjoy it. I like watching this. It'd be cool. Show some people maybe." So the guy he asks, who's, obviously the technician that's doing this, goes up to the driver. They have a little shady conversation, maybe a shady look back at Mike, We're talking. The other guy hops in the passenger seat. They drive off. They don't even do the job. Ladies and gentlemen, I will pose you the question that he posed to me. What are they pulling out of these drains?
Reptilian eggs.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. The way things are going, Dude,
Yeah,
something's
right
down
near
there.
Center City. Yeah, definitely reptilian eggs.
Yeah, and
Not
so-
putting out, putting in.
Yeah, right. They were. Yeah, no, they're clearing out the stuff. They insert them and then drop it back on top.
Because they mature in the sewers, as everyone knows.
Yeah, everyone knows. If you watched Ninja Turtles as a kid, or if you haven't, you understand. PGRI's out there dropping goo, but no. So I said,
Somebody's
maybe.
dropping goo.
Yeah, right. I said maybe it's a union thing. Maybe they anyone mentions filming, they take off. They're like, no, get out of there. This is the city. He'd probably yell something while recording it, and then beat feet like they did. But let's go. I'm gonna go with more of they were planting reptilian eggs for the sewer system to take the ooze from the secretive TGRI facility in South Philly under the Italian market. So
Okay.
to get it over there. But it was a fun story. I appreciate Mike calling me or letting me know what's going on out there.
Because he sounded like he was definitely spooked by this.
He was at the time. I believe he said, "You're the only one that would believe me." I think was one of the texts I got, and I was like, no, because you know what, I know the man to be truthful, and he doesn't bullshit, So
Yeah. Hey, if you can, point out some kind of, shady government kind of
Skunk Works, yeah.
Skunk Works, Black Ops, Psyops. We don't know what the fuck is going on. It's 2024. We don't know what's going on. I mean, these guys could be Grovers. We don't know.
We don't know.
All right.
I wanted to avoid another Grover conversation because
No.
Boy, oh boy.
Hold on. Episode 101 was where we turned the corner.
Right.
Everything intersects with the Grovers.
Sure. It wasn't for anyone else. It was only for me because I've been seeing it everywhere. I can't. It's a switch I can't turn off.
We'll save that when we get closer, let's say, to the election. I don't know. I think that'd be fun.
All right. Yeah, I remember the episode right before the last election was White House ghosts. Now this time it's got to be like
shapeshifters and
space politics, something I don't know,
something
like that. Because we did turn the corner, and oh boy, something's going on out there. I'll tell you that. And you know what? If you have a story, Other Dangerous Podcasts are the guys for you.
Yeah,
we will tell it as
be
truthful as possible.
It's going to be conspiracies. It's going to be bug burgers. It's going to be, cryptocurrency and all that entails with that.
Oh yeah,
all of it.
It's going to be
Chinese satellites,
adrenochrome blimps.
Adrenochrome. Can't forget.
Yeah.
The best part of the best scene of the Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas movie.
You're right. Now. Also, that being said, once again, thanks, Mike, for the story.
Thanks, Mike.
I didn't ask permission, but I figured
Well, we got to spread the word. You got to spotlight these motherfuckers. If you see them, in Center City or anywhere around any locales, you see some shady shit going on.
But the claw machines, you let me know.
Yeah, you pull your phone out and say, "Hey, can I film this?" And they'll probably just take off.
Yeah, and if you're also smoking a blunt, you let us know that too.
Yeah, sure. Let us know.
Yeah, we'll.
You see some fucking aliens after doing your damn thing.
Yeah, well,
it's the ickiest to the stickiest.
Yeah,
you do it.
Yeah, that's a conspiracy on its own. That it's hallucinogenic.
Conspiracy to avoid bullshit.
Yeah, if you're doing your mushroom gummies, then I'll be like, all right, you probably saw some aliens, didn't you?
Yeah.
But anyway, all right. Fun story. Thank you again. Watch out for the sewers in the city. Or in the burbs, wherever you may be. Now, that being said, I will also be bringing you tonight's Haunted Headline. It is spooky, guys. This one's from July 10th of this year. This is from the Mirror. Most credible stuff over there. You know what I mean?
It's from yesterday?
This is from the 10th, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
hot off the press.
Hot off the presses. Your boy has feet. I have boots on the ground. I am out here on the beat trying to get the best stories for you guys. I have a trench coat. I got the hat. I look like Raphael. Second Ninja Turtle reference of the day. So I'm out there. I'm trying to get the news, and this one just, someone slaps it in my hand, and they go, "Don't go too far." And they just walk off with a crazy look in their eye, and I'm like, I have to go further.
Yeah, they're like, let the others know. And they just crumble to dust.
Yeah, and I'm like, what? And then Darude Sandstorm plays and everything goes back.
I was waiting for it.
Yeah, so this article, COVID infection left me able to talk to the dead. So I married a ghost. Over here, we report solely on ghost marriages all the time. It's my main focus of my investigatory work.
Ghost marriages. I mean,
ghost marriages. I'm a sleuth when it comes. I sniff them out. I'm like a bloodhound, Jay.
I know.
So, a woman who previously divorced a ghost husband says she has met a new specter beau after falling ill with COVID. Singer-songwriter Brocardi, I guess that's how you say it, from Oxfordshire, fell in love with Eduardo, the ghost of a Victorian soldier, late in 2021, which I think we reported on.
We did. Yeah.
Yeah, well, he appeared in her home. However, a year after she said they got married, she called it quits on the relationships, and the accusations of the spirit cheated on her. We covered that as well.
Yes, we did.
Guys, we're continuing this one.
Yeah.
We gotta stay tight to this story. I feel like the implications of this could be monumental. So
far-reaching.
Yeah. Brocardi recently caught COVID, which she believes opened a portal to the afterlife.
Okay.
As during her time in the hospital, as they say, in hospital, she had a string of strange out-of-body encounters and messages from beyond the grave. When she returned home, she had more experiences with a force she knew wasn't human. She said, almost dying forces you to change your views on life. Nothing is infinite, nothing is impossible, and there's a whole world out there that we truly don't understand. And then Zach Bagans stands up and applauds. It's easy to write off ghost encounters as humor or fantasy, and I try my hardest to maintain a good sense of humor throughout everything I've encountered. There's a serious side to the spirit world. Talking about almost dying was impossible for me at the time, and after such a dramatic ghost encounter, I felt I need to address the paranormal element of what happened, as it felt easier than the human element, but I really recognize the connection now between the two sets of events. So I'm just going to read these last two parts here. There's definitely truth in the notion of almost dying led to me being able to communicate with the dead. After that experience, my whole life changed. I was fearless because I realized death is the worst thing that could happen to us. So being judged for talking about my paranormal encounter felt irrelevant. I concluded everything happens for a reason, and when we face the death, it's not the opinions of strangers that are important. Brocardi's journey into the paranormal has seen her star in many TV shows, of course. She appeared on This Morning on the day of her wedding, and her ghost wedding featured on Say Yes to the Dress in Cannes, France. Brocardi previously called in an exorcist and was convinced her ex, Eduardo, was gone for good, so treated herself to a trip to France, where she says she met another ghost named Fabian near the Eiffel Tower. When it followed her home, she became suspicious, and her worst fears were later confirmed. It was Eduardo in disguise.
That son of a bitch.
I can't believe him.
A ghost put on a ghost disguise.
Ghost costume, yeah.
In Paris, underneath the Eiffel Tower.
Yep. Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
My friend, sneaky son of a bitch.
Sure. Yeah. If I ever met this lady, you know what I would like to do? I'd like to ask her one good question. What did the five fingers say to the face?
Slap.
Yeah.
Slap, brah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I would like Kyle Schwarber to hit a home run, but her face be right at the launch point.
Like the one he just hit?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It's baseball season, folks. You should be used to it by now.
Because goddamn. Lady, she's got on TV. She's a musician. Probably had no views until married the first ghost. Got on TV. They did it for a laugh.
Yeah.
But then, you know, those loons out there that believe everything. They believe everything. And they want to go, you're just not open-minded, or you just don't know these sides of the paranormal world. And it's like, yeah, did a good amount of research on it, gang. Just saying.
What it is, man. I mean, I'm sure we'll be hearing from her again. You know, she can't really hold on to these guys very well.
No.
There's ghost disguises happening. Like, do you think you put like a ghostly version of like a false nose with a mustache and like the glasses?
That is 100% what I was thinking, and maybe a ghost wig.
Ghost wig.
It'd be funny if it was like a silly ghost afro. And he's like,
this guy's a real rascal, huh?
Trade the end. Me. Oh. I am not your former ghost lover.
Yeah. No.
Do you want to go on the Eiffel Tower?
Now, you know, it's not even worth it.
Yeah, good. Come on.
So she got COVID, and that's when she got married the first time, right? She started talking to ghosts, right?
I think. It's a little innocuous, but I think that's what we're going with here.
Okay. But now she's onto another guy.
Yes.
And that's what the news is here, because she...
Yes.
Or she talked to spirits before, but now she can really talk to them? Like, it got turned up?
I think, too, the way they wrote that, the twist at the end was she married another, but it really turned out it was the other one in disguise.
It was just Eduardo. Okay.
Eduardo in a French ghost disguise.
Okay. We should get her on the show.
Yeah, we should. And just be like, what?
Just let her talk and just, you know.
Yeah. And eat popcorn the whole time?
Yeah. Yeah. Michael Jackson style.
Unbelievable. Just unbelievable.
But then again, come on.
Yeah. It's still the goods.
All right.
Still the goods here. All right, guys. So that was our haunted headline for this turn. And boy, was it a doozy. But here we go, guys. Area 51.
Area 51, Ken. And, you know, this is the big place. I mean, I can't believe it took us this long to get to this topic. I mean, we've danced around it every time we mention UFOs. How can you not? But this is the place, man. Dreamland, Paradise Ranch, home base, Watertown Strip, Groom Lake, and most recently, through an error on their own part, Homey Airport is now the official designation. Because now it appears on
S5 as well, or S4?
S2, S4, S3. There's also an Area 52, I found out. So
yeah, I saw that as well.
They're not fucking around. There's the Area 51 of Area 51. There's like an area on there where you, like, the regular people can't go.
You know when you're a kid and you like build a fort and you're like, how do we make this better? Fort inside the fort.
Fort inside the fort, the sanctum sanctorum. You can't, you know, it's only for the initiated. Yeah,
like you can dolly around out there, but you're not going to get the good comics that we got in this fort.
No. I want to say that my introduction to Area 51 was like one of our favorite shows, Sightings or something like that, but it actually wasn't. It was that fucking arcade game, Area 51. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, they even released it for console.
Yeah,
I think we had. It might have been on the 3DO. I think it was on the 3DO, and then it eventually came out to like Sega Saturn or Sega CD. But
an uncle of mine had it, and it was on TurboGrafx 16.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah,
really? With the expansion, it had to be, because it couldn't have been 16-bit, because they were doing the people.
No, it was whatever the hell it was, because he had that and Zombie Hunter. I remember those two games, and he also had Splatterhouse, because it was just it was just those three. That's all he had, and I was like, all right.
Yeah, we had TurboGrafx, and I was young tyke, and my brother already moved on to that. He had the Nintendo at that time, so like it was like, you're not allowed to play this alone, you know. I have to be here. We all know my brother Chris. I have to be here if we're playing this. You can go play the TurboGrafx, and I had my own little TV off to the side, and I would play China Warrior, Keith's Courage, Jackie Chan Adventures, Splatterhouse, and there's one Bonk. Adventure Land.
All those games were developed at Area 51.
Probably. I mean, J-Rod had that technology, that card.
Whoa. Pump the brakes on J-Rod. Hold on. People aren't ready for him yet. We'll get to him. All right, Ken. Area 51, the big place. This is where if you were a kid that grew up in the 90s, this was the place. You're like, what? A secret, like, you know, once again, I just mentioned Sightings, all those shows, Unsolved Mysteries, they all talked about it. They're like, the secret base.
Yeah, I think I heard it in the crazy ramblings from my father at points. Just like,
I'm sure. I mean,
we got him out there at the very 51. You know,
maybe. But I want to say, shows like Sightings and Unsolved Mysteries, like everything we talk about on this show. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
It all filtered through there, and this was the place. I mean, and I remember the '90s, Dreamland is what they called it, because it was like all the things that, like, anything you can imagine involving aliens was happening at this installation.
Yeah, like Geraldo Rivera wouldn't touch it. He's
No,
like,
because they threatened him. They're like, "We will come to your house and rip off your mustache." He was like, "Fuck, all right, I'm out."
Yeah, and Phil Donahue was like, "They're not touching my glasses."
All right.
He wasn't. They weren't going to do that. They weren't going to cover this.
Right. So let's look into some of the particulars, and then we'll get to the fun stuff towards the end.
Sure.
But let's get through the stuffy stuff first, and then we'll
The stuffy stuff.
yeah, and then we'll talk about aliens and all that fun shit.
Yeah.
So Area 51, common name of the highly classified United States Air Force facility within the Nevada Test and Training Range. Very historic area. They've been doing some crazy shit there. Also, this place was seized illegally under certain. I don't know if you've heard about this. They're not even supposed to have this land. This was public land.
Well,
They do what they want.
Yeah. From what we know about the government.
Yes, they. Eminent domain apparently is not allowed to be used here, but they did it anyway. So, a remote detachment administered by Edwards Air Force Base, the facility is officially called Homey Airport. Now, there's a small little thing. This is actually recent, back in 2007. I mean, kind of recent. There was some kind of error that occurred, and someone on the base kind of let this out, that the name of the airport on base is known as Homey Airport, and so because of that, no one ever knew that before.
Yeah.
So now, if you're in the area and you're looking on, like, if you fly anywhere near there, where there's you can get within a half mile, from what I understand.
Yeah.
It'll actually come up on the radar as this thing, which was never a thing before. And I think that's really interesting because they never even admitted that the place was even real until 2013.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Think about that. Like, it.
Yeah.
You've seen the pictures. People get the pictures.
There was video.
I know. There's video. There's pictures. There's people going up to the area. There's people that go to the gates. And they're like, no, that's not real.
Right.
What?
Yeah.
What is this
before
here?
that, exactly. It's all sorts of crazy shit. And when they tell you can't see it or can't go in there, and there's possibly aliens in there having like an orgy or whatever the fuck they're doing in there, you want to get in.
Yeah. Well, because they were testing laser tag. In the late 80s. We got it in the early 90s.
Right.
That's where like the aliens were. They're like, wait till you see this game.
Yeah, they're 25 years ahead.
Yeah, so. And they were like, you'll never beat our tournament champion, Zip Zap and Gleepglor, but give it a shot.
Yeah, well, I don't think they want to.
That was just some normal guy. That wasn't one of the aliens talking. That guy was like, no, try out our... That was just the guy that was in charge of the... I know that because I worked at a laser tag place in the early 2000s. Yeah,
and they're already listening. We said Area 51. We said the real name of Homey Airport and Groom Lake. Once you start mentioning that shit all within a small amount of time, they come to your house.
Yeah, and then things start popping up on the screen here, like thumbs up. Every time I do a thumbs up, it pops up, and I'm like, oh, it's them.
So details of its operations are not made public, obviously, but the United States Air Force says that it is an open training range, and it is commonly thought to support the development and testing of experimental aircraft and weapons systems.
Yeah.
The United States Air Force and those sons of bitches, the CIA, acquired the site in 1955 primarily for flight testing the Lockheed U-2 spy aircraft. Or so they say. The intense secrecy surrounding the base has made it the frequent subject of conspiracy theories, obviously, and a central component of unidentified flying object folklore, also known as UAPs.
When you say conspiracy theories, do you mean theories?
Yes.
Okay.
It has never been declared a secret base, but all research and occurrences in Area 51 are top secret.
Yeah.
The CIA publicly acknowledges the base's existence on June 25th of 2013, following a Freedom of Information Act request filed in 2005 and declassified documents detailing its history and purpose.
Yeah, because like in 2005 when that came in, like it took them that many years to like, all right, burn everything, clean up. They're like,
they're like, all right, we got to give them something. All right, so let's pretend. Here's all this redacted shit. They just cooked those documents up and said, oh, this is what we've been doing here the whole time. Let them say whatever.
Teddy Ruxpin came out.
It's possible. Area 51 is located in the southern portion of Nevada, 83 miles northwest of Las Vegas. The surrounding area is a popular tourist destination, including the small town of Rachel, on the extraterrestrial highway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's a lot of technical jargon around this place. I mean, it's crazy because they're trying to hit you with all the stuff like, no, this is what we're really doing there. And I don't doubt that they aren't doing what they're saying here, but it's the other shit that they're not telling us is what, really, sticks in my craw, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I'll just go through it real quick. The original base is a 6 by 10 mile area known as the Groom Box. What? Say what you will.
They couldn't use the word grove, so they went with broom.
It's just thinly veiled. If you push it around, it just means Grover's land here or whatever.
Yeah.
Yep. The area is connected by the internal Nevada test site road network with paved roads leading south to Mercury and west to Yucca Flat. This is a huge area. I mean, it's a 23 by 25 mile area that you cannot enter, and it's got the big dry lake. It's got all these, all these roads.
They made it dry. They drained that lake.
Did they?
On accident.
On accident. Some kind of alien accident.
Yes. Some kind of alien accident. Yes.
Right. You've got all these security checkpoints. You see, if you've ever seen any of the shows, you see that there's cameras popping up. There's constant security around the place. Even if you come up to the front gate, remember they show on the shows, those like dudes in white pickup trucks on all the horizons. You ain't getting anywhere near there. And you check out those signs that they have there. They have the right to use lethal force. Yeah.
And the funniest thing too is there's never been a nice one. There's never been like one nice fucking guard that has come up to anyone.
No.
So I'm like, hey guys, how about this? They're always like, I will put a fucking bullet between your eyes. They're always just like,
well, they're not even allowed to record them, what they say, because anytime that they come up to talk to them, they're not allowed to record those guys, which is interesting.
They're not allowed
what I mean?
to, but they do.
Oh, no, I know, but sometimes you'll get voices, but their images won't appear.
I've seen a couple.
Don't lie.
I'm not lying. I've seen a couple.
Okay,
especially more recently. There's been, dude. We'll get into it with the raid.
We'll get into it. Let's get through the technical shit, and then we can go to fucking Wacko Land. I can't wait. I'm here to go to Wacko Land. That's what I want.
I'm antsy in my pantsy. This is what I do.
All right. So the origin of the name Area 51 is unclear, but it's believed to be from an Atomic Energy Commission numbering grid when they when all the testing was going on back in the day, where they were and this just happens to be Area 51.
Yeah.
It's like we said before. It's referred to as Dreamland and Paradise Ranch, among other nicknames. And it's it's just secrets, man. It's just secrets on top of secrets. They'll refer to it, in a way that oh, that's Area 51, but they're like, oh no, that's the operating location near Groom Dry Lake. It's like, well, just say Area 51.
Yeah.
They can't help themselves.
No, they can't.
No. Also kind of interesting, in this area back in 1864, there was a large amount of lead and silver were discovered there, that's kind of cool.
That is cool.
I mean, there's also, there's a famous...
That's why they dry the lake. That's why they dry the lake.
A famous, mining area, a wagon train thing went through here or something. There's
49ers, the 49ers. Yeah.
So apparently... there's artifacts left there, but no one can get to it because it's in Area 51. Apparently there's from major historical stuff that people want to get to. I actually saw a documentary that had nothing to do with Area 51. They're like, hey, there's stuff that we can learn from this, but those fucks won't let us in.
Well, there was the one guy, Jeffrey Freeman.
Yep.
Who trekked through. He wanted to take the path of the 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
And he ended up, I forget how many days it was, but undetected, he got through.
Yep.
And
I know exactly what you're talking about. He had to hide in this shed for a while. They were a dude walked right past them.
Mm-hmm.
Super interesting. And he was just there. He's like, I don't care about aliens. I just want to see the stuff that's in there. And apparently there's parts of a wagon still there. There was all this stuff, but these guys and their aliens won't let anyone do anything.
Ugh.
So.
Yeah, we're worried about Mars and Neptune.
Yeah. Fucking Neptune,
Neptune dudes. On their fucking space couches.
Yeah, exactly.
Watching their fucking space friends.
Mm-hmm. So, what's the big famous thing that the government, the official line here, is that there was a bunch of top secret aircraft and radar programs that were developed, tested, and perfected here on this this property. All right, so the U-2 program, that was a huge one. That was the big spy plane that was developed in the 50s. That happened here. Afterwards, it was the Oxcart program, which was kind of like an anti-radar kind of study. It's probably like rudimentary, like stealth technology that we'll see later on. I'm not going to all of it because like it's like technical jargon on top of technical jargon. The Lockheed D-21, as well as the A-12, these are all similar to the Blackbird. Were all developed here. These are supersonic jets. These are the first of their kind. A lot of people like to put this out as, oh, people just saw them testing these aircraft. That's what they thought were UFOs. It's like, yeah, none of these look like discs, though.
Also, too, most of these, I mean, if we're going to be completely honest, these are our attempts to keep up with their technology. So it's a race. They got Vin Diesel's like ancestors. They're like a quarter mile at a time, but we're going to make it 52. You got to get there. So he was just drag racing planes and UFOs.
Fair enough. I'll hold my my ideas to. I
just had to get there, so we didn't forget.
No. Beautiful, man. I love it. Then there was a whole section of time during the Cold War where our government acquired or captured Soviet fighter aircraft, which is really interesting. And this is interesting because they freely admit to taking the stuff and back engineering off of this stuff. Yeah. And a MiG, the MiG-21. There was another one, I can't remember the designation of it, but they captured these, they messed with them, they flew with them, they were just trying to get their whatever they could get off of the Soviet technology that they thought that perhaps they had some good stuff. And what kind of made me laugh was the name of these programs were Half Donut and Half Drill and Half Ferry.
All right.
That's the code names. Half Donut.
Yeah, well, the thing is, too, the Soviets were the ones that actually apparently found the element that we will eventually get to.
That goes off into like 20 different directions, but yeah. Are you talking about a certain 115?
I am talking about a certain 115.
Okay. Because we'll get to that. We'll get to that because there's actually
once again just interjecting my.
Yep. We'll get to it. I'm trying. I just want to get to this so it's not just us going like us turn into fucking Charlie Day and with fucking red ropes and shit.
That's good.
No, we're getting there. Okay, so that was a whole big thing that happened there. There's a lot on there, but I think that's interesting because they're already telling you that they were doing reverse engineering here.
Yeah.
So, and they only put this out like this is recent. They're only telling us about this recently. This is stuff that's going on through the 60s and 70s, but it's almost like they put this out to tell us like, oh yeah, whatever they were saying that we were like back engineering, it was this Soviet stuff. It wasn't alien technology, what they just jag off Bob Lazar says. But I digress. Then we have later on.
You're doing it right now.
Yeah. Then we go on to, like I was saying before, then there's the Lockheed Have Blue, which is a badass looking aircraft, and this was the precursor to the stealth fighter and bomber, and this was also developed here, which is the F-117, which was the bomber, if I'm correct. This is where they developed all these these delta shaped aircraft, and I remember the stuff came out in the 90s and they were saying, oh, here's the stealth bomber, here's the stealth fighter, and people were looking at this shit and they were just like you couldn't believe it. You're like, oh my god, this is it's amazing stuff. And they put it out, and then you have these people talking about it, and they're like, oh, well, this is clearly what people have been seeing. These are the UFOs that people have been talking about for decades at this point. But then the real G's got on TV and they're like, look, if this is what they're showing us, they have something 5 steps down the line already. If this is what they're showing us.
Yeah.
So all of that I think is just super interesting because it's like they're showing us this stuff. It's like, no, this is what we do here. We can't let the public in here. We're trying to develop super secret,
military aircraft and we don't want our secrets out. And it's like admitting to this, and I understand that first and foremost. I understand that it's like, this is a national security threat if any of this gets out. So of course we have to deny we have to keep everyone out, deny the existence. The smallest hair of any of the technology that we possess at this point is literally paramount to our, military's future. So I completely get that, and
and not only that, it's not for us, but for your safety.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, okay, That's essentially what the official story is for what this base is doing. It's secret stuff. It's secrets for your own protection and for the preservation of integrity in these projects. And that's really, according to the government, all there really is to it. I mean, they have to keep it secure. They have to keep it remote. If anybody gets too close, they should definitely shoot them in the face.
Yeah, they're like, don't fuck this up, America.
Yeah. Yeah, we're doing this for you. Why do you got to come out here and ruin our good time? We're trying to just make these planes for you.
Yeah, they're like, we were doing so good.
Yeah. It's also interesting that there's been some environmental lawsuits. Very quick, I just want to mention this. I thought this is also kind of, adds to the fuckery that's occurring around here.
Yeah.
There's apparently people who worked on the site got some really horrible health complications after working there because apparently they're burning some really weird shit out there.
Yeah. Huh.
A lot of
experimental fuel, maybe?
Apparently, folks that live around or someone that may have worked there had large amounts of dioxin, dibenzofurian. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that sounds bad. That's bad news.
Trichloroethylene. Even worse. Even worse. And they're saying it's because of all this weird stuff that they've been burning.
Alien bodies.
On what happened during the development of the Lockheed F-117 Nighthawk, which is another. It's not being used anymore, but it was one of the earlier stealth fighter.
Yeah, well, loosely based one of the episodes of X-Files season 1.
Mm-hmm.
I think it might have been episode 3 or 4, where the test pilots were getting super radiation poisoning and all kinds of poisoning of things, and that's the first where they first kidnap Mulder, and take him, and he's like, he comes out and he's just like,
that's just being too close to their propulsion core.
Sure. Well, they did torture him though.
They did torture him though. Yeah. Deep Throat was like, we're gonna get this motherfucker.
Yeah. And then when Scully comes to save him,
Smoking Man. No, Deep Throat was the good guy who got murdered.
Yeah, you're right. But yeah, they're Scully comes to rescue him, and she's handing Mulder over, and he's like, I'm telling you, this is for your own good, and you're ruining it. So it's like everything we're just talking about.
Yeah.
It's like that, episode 3 of X-Files.
Yep. And then he turns to her like Han Solo style, and he's like, they didn't even ask me any questions.
Yeah. And they furk in the back of the car.
Oh, hell yeah.
Later they did that.
Let's hope so. Do we want to talk about the security around Area 51 a little bit?
Yes, we do.
Of course we do. So the perimeter of the base is marked out by orange posts and patrolled by guards in white pickup trucks, as we mentioned, and camouflage fatigues. Your common garden variety, army guys. The guards are popularly referred to as camo dudes by enthusiasts. The guards will not answer questions about their employers. However, according to the New York Daily News, there are indications they are employed through a contractor such as ACOM.
Isn't that...
They are a multinational infrastructure consulting firm. Evil corporations.
Right, but one big thing about the community at large of the people that investigate this stuff, the best name they came up with was Camo Dudes.
Well, I think it's just like, the Camo Dudes are coming,
right, but because that's how they say it. They're like, oh man, it's Camo Dudes. That's a lot of times that's off-putting to me. I'm sorry.
All right. I mean, they're going to shoot you in the face, so it really doesn't matter what they're called.
Right. You could be like, here comes the...
I think the more noteworthy thing here is that they're PMCs. They're not American military.
Yeah, they're paramilitary.
Yeah. This is some, it's not Blackwater, but it's similar. These guys aren't your... Yeah, these guys are mercenaries, for Christ's sake.
Yeah. Maybe that was the white pickup that was following me in Lake Placid.
Here's what happened. Fuck, I can't even... We didn't get to that. I can't tell you.
You showed your teeth, which was like there's an idea that you were ready to sink in.
Yep. We'll talk about it at the end. We'll talk about it at the end. So signage around the base perimeter advises that deadly force is also authorized against trespassers. So you know what's going on over there. If you step over the line, you're done.
The
and I wonder
come out.
Do you think they shoot, or do you think they use like an alien ray, like an alien like butthole ray, like where they just?
That's way beyond the perimeter.
You have to be way past the fence.
There's other guards that are in there. Like these guys,
there's like level 4 guards. These are just like level 1 chumps.
Yeah, these are like paramilitary. These are guys that are like, oh, I know how to shoot things and stab things really good.
Right, that's all.
Maybe a chokehold.
They don't even know, and you know this whole place is compartmentalized. These guys don't know nothing about nothing. Yeah. All they know is that they're guarding the perimeter.
They're like, we get paid more than we should.
Yeah,
we do our job. We kill a couple people here and there.
Yep. And then they go home and hold their hands over the fucking range on the oven and just like, kill more of these commie scum tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. After they like send the bodies to Lake Mead, you know,
they full send
to Lake Mead.
Yep.
Dump them in.
Yep. Come on, Camo dudes, send it.
Yeah,
send
Camo
it.
Dude.
Full send.
Camo dudes.
Technology is also heavily used to maintain the border of the base. This includes surveillance cameras and motion detectors. Some of these motion detectors are placed some distance away from the base on public land to notify guards of people approaching, which that's also illegal. But laws don't matter anymore. Yeah. Also, I was watching our boy Don Wildman had an episode just about Area 51, came out a couple of years ago.
I just the other night on fucking Monday night, I was falling asleep to Mysteries at the Museum.
He's the best.
So good. So good.
What was it? Cities of the Underworld. That was my jam.
Yeah.
That show was great. Anyway, it doesn't mention here though their use of drones now. Now they just use these which we'll get back to drones. That's what they're using mostly. So before you even pull up, they know that you're there. Before you get even close to the place, when you pull off the one road, apparently there's just like the one highway, they know that you're coming. They see who's coming, and they already have you ready to go. Yeah,
they already have your birth certificates pulled up in the surveillance department over there.
Yep.
Yeah, they're like, this one was a bedwetter. Use that.
Yes.
Call him pee-pee sheet, see what he says.
Ooh. So back in 2019, there was a shooting incident where someone tried to get onto the base carrying a, quote, cylindrical object and then was shot dead.
Mm-hmm. Well, there was the one documented, shooting incident besides all the other ones that are just swept up and thrown into the alien pit or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Here, eat. Here's more food.
Yeah. That's what it is. And honestly, as far as like the official documentation, that's basically what it is. They're telling us it's site where they develop these extra amazing badass aircraft,
sick ass air fighting planes.
Yeah,
and detection technology.
Mm-hmm. But let's get down to the real nitty gritty, Ken.
Yeah.
Let's go with a true and false. I'm going to hit you with something. You say true or false. What do you think? Okay?
True.
All right.
Sorry.
Area 51 has become a focus of modern conspiracy theories, obviously, due to all the secretive nature of it and the connection to classified aircraft research.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yes.
So, 1. The storage, examination, and reverse engineering of crashed alien spacecraft, including material supposedly recovered at Roswell, the study of their occupants, and the manufacture of aircraft based on alien technology.
Yes.
True or false?
It's true.
That's what's happening there.
Yeah.
That's literally it right there. They
blew
their wad in the first one.
There's other stuff going on, but...
Meetings or joint undertakings with extraterrestrials.
True, and at the Pentagon.
Okay. The development of exotic energy weapons for the Strategic Defense Initiative or other weapons programs. Yep. The Strategic Defensive Initiative scares the shit out of me, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
All those black sites where they're going to put all the for civil unrest. Those scare the shit out of me. You know those empty quote unquote Amazon warehouses?
Yeah.
But they say that's not. Those aren't Amazon warehouses. You know that, right?
Bro, first of all, when I first stumbled my 21-year-old feet into this, I learned about the FEMA death camps and all those extra tubs that were outside of Walmarts and all the land owned by the Waltons.
I know you know. I'm talking because we're talking to the audience.
I'm sorry.
Jesus Christ, this guy.
Well, you don't wind me up because I'm going to move, baby.
All right, this one's going to wind you up.
Okay.
The development of weather control.
Yes, well, that's HARP.
Yeah.
HARP and cloud seeding. Those are two real things that have been confirmed.
Right. But this isn't HARP. HARP is up in Alaska, right?
No, they're all over. There's not just Alaska.
No, the original one was up in Alaska.
Yeah, but there's multiple facilities.
Well, the development of that was started here.
Yeah. Yes.
Ready? The development of time travel and teleportation technology.
No.
No?
No. False.
No time travel?
No, they nipped that in the bud with Tesla.
Interesting.
He had it. And anyone else that comes up with it, it's done. That's where the CERN's got that now, buddy. Come on. Stop.
Stop. The development of exotic propulsion systems related to the Aurora program.
Yes. True, and also we have proof of that in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas when you broke into Area 51 and you found the jetpack. You had to fight past everyone to get to the jetpack at the very bottom of the base.
Right. That should be its own episode, the Aurora program. That's about super secret American reconnaissance aircraft. I actually think some other things that we're seeing in the skies now sprung out of that.
Yeah.
All right, we got one more. Activities related to the conspiracy theory of a one world government.
I'm going to say false here. We know where that takes place. Hint. You know me from the tall trees, Jack.
Yes, but you don't think they meet here sometimes?
Area 51? No.
No?
No. Not at Area 51.
You don't think they ever met with J-Rod?
Too many. No. I think, once again, see, there's too many nerdy and military types at Area 51.
Right.
There's not too many artists or free thinkers.
Yeah, but what about the underground area?
The underground area is an artist and free thinker. That's literally uber nerds. Those are the people that are like, we can't wrap our mind around these philosophies that we're coming up with. We need to send this out. We need to outsource this somewhere where actual thinkers and someone that knows how to paint with watercolors. You know, like I just became. How did I become Richard Dreyfuss there? Seriously.
I don't know, but I also don't know what the fuck you're even talking about.
Neither did I. Something took over me. That was a manifestation. I told you to wind me up. The universe comes out.
All right. How about listen to this one? I like this one. Many of the hypotheses concern underground facilities at Groom or at Papoose Lake, which is also known as S4.
Yes.
Which is 8.5 miles south, and include claims of a transcontinental underground railroad system.
Yes.
Disappearing airstrip nicknamed the Cheshire Airstrip, which briefly appears when water is sprayed onto its camouflage asphalt, and engineering based on alien technology.
True. Yes. Underground facilities. Jesus.
It's not even just that they're underground facilities. There's an underground highway linking them all.
Oh, yeah. Stuff's leaking now, too, of these just underground... I don't even know what you'd call them, because they're not really mining, but it's like... it's like, this isn't... It's not... there's military vehicles. It's not like a... drills. There's no drills. It's already been core. It's like it's been bored out, all of it, and it's just facilities with, it's not like the back rooms. It's actual facilities of like just like how big is this underground that like, and how far do these actual? That's not even highways at this point. It's just like imagine like walking into the biggest warehouse you've been in that can fit these vehicles. The globalists but it's
yeah, but there's all these sites, and the sites are interconnected by these highways.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I like to think they're like pneumatic tubes or something.
Sure. Well, look at what Tesla did in Vegas. All those Tesla vehicles and the highways that are underground. You see that?
Yes.
Well, it's very similar, but it's at that point it's antiquated tech because.
If we're talking about it, they're like, we're done with that. We're like 10 steps past.
Yeah, they gave him the contract, and he's just out there like, well. Yes, we can make it underground. Just be much faster. This is how I do. Yeah, he's like, I can do it in Vegas and give me 2 years. And he did it. It was like, all right, man. Your cars just drive, by the way. And then they come by and it's nuts. Like, it's something that it's out of Time Cop. It's out of the movie Time Cop. And like when you're seeing it now, like actually seeing like them working in Vegas, it's terrifying because you're like, imagine a car wash, the when you park on the thing and it takes you through.
Yeah.
It's like that. Nothing gets clean, but it's just fast and there's tunnels that offshoot. It's one of my nightmares because like, you're like, what if the car stops? and you're just stuck in this tunnel. And then you got to get out because it's only the size of the car. It's not like, there's not much room to work around.
They're probably using, I can't get to this yet, but probably using the same technology that Bob Lazar was talking about, how the ships move. It just makes an indentation in time and space. Let's just get to this guy. You good?
Yeah, all right. Fuck.
All right, ready?
Yes.
Okay, so let's get to Bob Lazar, because this was the, peek behind the curtain here. This is what wanted us to do this episode, because he's a guy. Goddamn, Bob Lazar.
I love him. I'm not going to say everything's true. I'm just saying I love him.
No. All right. So before we go into the whole thing, a little bit about Bob Lazar. In 1989, he claimed to have been part of a classified U.S. government project concerned with the reverse engineering of extraterrestrial technology. He also purported to have read government briefing documents that described alien involvement in human affairs over the past 10,000 years.
Yeah. Yes.
A self-proclaimed, and this is fucked up because it's not self-proclaimed, physicist, Lazar supposedly worked at a secret site near the United States Air Force facility known as Area 51. He's talking about S4.
Yeah.
His story brought additional public attention to the facility and spawned conspiracy theories regarding government knowledge of extraterrestrial life. Now, here's the grain of salt here. Lazar has no evidence of alien life or technology, and his claimed education and employment history is replete with fabrication. That's not true.
Nope.
Lazar is also a criminal. Jesus. Yes, but not connected to this. He may or may not have ran a prostitution ring.
First, hold on. Before we go into that, let's just say after you get caught sneaking some of your buddies out into the area to watch some of the test flights, and you get caught by a local sheriff who reports it, and they scrub your college education, they scrub your work history, they scrub your W-2s that only got found. I'm sorry. Okay. Anyway.
Right, we're jumping ahead a little bit.
Let me just say this. Once they do that, and if you don't start a described, or as they describe it, a high-tech brothel, then you're a fucking idiot.
Okay.
You got to make some money, bro.
I'm reading this part because I want to show how much people don't like this guy, but then you actually watch some stuff with the facts, and it's completely different. So I'm saying that he's been involved with, they say he's a criminal here, right? He was convicted in 1990 for his involvement in a prostitution ring, and again in 2006 for selling illegal chemicals. That's not what happened. He runs a fireworks company. That's what he does to make his money. He also used to sell I think it's called United. I forget the name of his company, but some of the glow powder I used to use for some of my stuff was made by his company. Is it United Nuclear? I forget what it's called.
Sounds right.
Sure. But they were fucking with him because for a bunch of reasons. Every time he pops up again, he gets raided by the government. Yeah. They never charge him with anything. They just bust into his either his home or his business. They just scare the shit out of him and they just leave. They don't charge him with anything and they just disappear. And this is found readily, but I'm reading this also off of Wikipedia for a reason, because this is, for some reason, they really want to fucking bury this guy.
Well, most things on Wikipedia, like if you go, once again, anyone can kind of edit that, right? Yeah. And the more times that you do that, and the more times that, so they probably have people on board. Anytime someone changes it, they go, nope, switch it right back. Yeah.
And it's funny too, because he gets dismissed by skeptics, of course. But there's other, ufologists that are that'll say that, quote, a lot of credible people have looked at Lazar's story and rationally concluded that he made it up. Well, why would you say that? Because if you go through the whole thing where there's a bunch of documentaries on this guy at this point, Bob Lazar, but all his stuff was legit. Like they found print material that showed that he went to MIT, he went to Caltech, he got a junior college prize, he got all this stuff, and the guy is also, he built a small nuclear reactor in his house. Yeah. He had this he made jet powered cars. Yeah. The guy is clearly, it's not like this guy just came out of nowhere with this ability to do stuff.
Right. And then they ended up finding, his actual office extension in the old phone books from, those labs and everything out there where they said he never worked at.
Right. So it's interesting where he first pops up with the UFO stuff was in 1989, and he was coming through in the capacity of a whistleblower because he actually thought that this was, the public should know about this kind of stuff, right?
The sickest introduction to a video ever. Him showing up in the Corvette in the desert and getting out. You're like, this guy might fuck.
Yeah, and there's like a rocket pack on the back. So in May of 1989, he appeared in an interview with our boy George Knapp, legend,
Yep.
under the pseudonym Dennis, with his face hidden. This was the first one.
Because it was the Dennis system from Always Sunny. Yeah.
Right. He throws a bowl of cereal at somebody.
Yeah.
And he was to discuss his employment at S4, which was a section of Nellis Air Force Base, which is a section of Area 51. He claims that the said facility was adjacent to Papoose Lake, which we discussed, and this is the south of the main Area 51 facility at Groom Lake. He claimed the site consisted of concealed aircraft hangars built into the mountainside, which at that time they said that's not true at all, but then now that there's been so many video of it, that's another thing that's true that they didn't know at the time, that there's no way he would have known that.
Yep.
Lazar said that his job was to help with the reverse engineering of one of 9 flying saucers, extraterrestrial craft, which he alleged were alien in origin. He claims one of the flying saucers that he coined the, quote, sport model was manufactured out of a metallic substance similar in appearance and touch to liquid titanium. In a subsequent interview with that November, Lazar appeared unmasked and under his own name. That's the
sickest video ever.
Sick. With the 1980s tucked in, button-up shirt and the white sneakers, where he claimed that his job interview for work at the facility was with contractor EG&G, and that his employer was the United States Navy. EG&G stated it had no records on him. His supposed employment at a Nellis Air Force Base subsidiary has also been discredited by skeptics as well as by the United States Air Force. So let's back that up a little bit. They found printed matter that nothing that Lazar had on his own, in his own possession. Yeah. That he they found one of his intake forms. They found a pay stub. They found wasn't there a directory, like an ID and then a directory.
Yeah, ID in his directory.
Yeah, they wiped him from the system as soon as he came out.
And it wasn't his own research. He didn't go and look for this. Other people went and found that to present
independent
to
research. It was not him saying, "Hey, look at this, look at this." No, other people found it.
Just like the self-described handprint that he had to use to get into the doors.
The measuring of the
bone density. Yeah.
Yes, we're getting there. So. Lazar has claimed that the propulsion of the studied vehicle ran on antimatter reactor and was fueled by the chemical element with atomic number 115, also known as E115, which at the time was provisionally named unobtainium.
Just say unobtainium.
Sure, sounds good. I'm trying to get it right, but that is a weird word. Ununpentium. Ununpentium. That's it.
Ununpentium. Nailed it.
And had not yet been artificially created. It was first synthesized in 2003 and later named Moscovium, which is funny because they're pointing out what a fool this guy is, but then later on, it was made in 2015.
Yeah, and it's funny that Moscovium,
Well, it was made in Russia. Yeah. It was by a joint team of Russian and American scientists at the Joint Institute for Nuclear Research in Dubna, Russia, in December 2015. It was one of 4 new elements created. Now, that's kind of a smoking gun for me. The guy was talking about this stuff decades before it was, or a full decade, almost 15 years before any of this was even mentioned by anybody.
Right, and then when another country and their intelligence agency gets a hold of it.
Yeah.
What is the next smear campaign? Oh, well, it doesn't do what he said it does.
Right. So he said that the propulsion system relied on a stable isotope of E115, element 115, which allegedly generates a gravity wave that allowed the vehicle to fly and to evade visual detection by bending light around it.
Right, and they were saying that his initial description of it was it had to have been an element from somewhere with such a high density, whereas bringing it here, much as Superman works, that its ability to move objects
Yeah, is greatly
self-sustained, and it can just do it on its own accord once it's activated.
Right, and it works a lot better here because our atmosphere or whatever it is not as under high pressure as wherever the stuff came from originally.
Yes.
So according to this, no stable isotopes of moscovium have yet been synthesized. Of course it has.
Yeah.
All have proven extremely radioactive, decaying in a few hundred milliseconds. Lazar said the craft was dismantled, and the reactor he studied was topped by a sphere or semisphere, which emitted a force field capable of repulsing human flesh. He explained that the craft was split into two main levels. The reactor was positioned at the center of the upper level with an antenna extending to the top, surrounded by 3 gravity amplifiers. These connected to gravity emitters on the lower level, which can rotate 180 degrees to output a, quote, gravity beam or anti-gravity wave, and that the craft would then travel belly first into this distortion field. So that's another interesting thing where you think of, like, the ship going up and down, your classic flying saucer thing, but actually it would turn on its side and go and fly that way.
Right.
Interesting. I think there's a recent video. If this video is real, you see that video that was taken last year. The girl who was on the plane who saw that weird thing that was flying the flying
Squirtle.
Yeah, the flying Squirtle.
Yeah.
That's the way the way that it's positioned is the exact same way that Bob Lazar says that these things fly.
Right. So also, if you go back to like the first description of where they said a flying saucer, and I'm sure we've talked about this, whereas it moved as a saucer would skipped on water.
Yeah.
So when something skips, the trajectory goes up off it.
Yeah.
And centrifugal force actually moves it in that way.
Yeah.
So that would be the description of how it worked, kind of belly first.
Yeah.
Trajecting it. I mean, look, they should just give us PhDs.
They should. I actually think that's us testing that stuff.
Sure.
Rudimentary tests. Anyway, we'll continue. Lazar has claimed that during his joining the program, he read briefing documents describing the historical involvement of Earth for the past 10,000 years with extraterrestrial beings described as gray aliens from a planet orbiting the twin binary star system Zeta Reticuli. Can we get a fucking Wendigo riff? Fuck yeah.
We're doing 2.
There it is.
Fuck.
I love it.
And then later he goes on Rogan and he's like, yeah, it's a fucking, an excavation. It was a, like, oh god.
Oh, that where they got the original stuff was from an archaeological excavation. That's wild.
It makes me want to fight humans. That concept, like, how dare you not? Oh god, it's the greatest. It's the coolest.
Let's move forward. We'll keep going on it.
I know.
We can at the end we can talk about what we think, what we like. Here we go. As of September 2019, no extrasolar planets have been found in the Zeta Reticuli system. Oh, did we go there? In 1989, Lazar said the seats of the saucer he saw were approximately child size and that he had seen alien cadavers of a corresponding size. This is also interesting if you consider if this is a place where he was suggesting that this place was under a greater pressure. Now, if wherever they're from is under a greater pressure, would that also be the reason why they're so small?
Absolutely.
Right.
They'd have to be able to maneuver in
right, and then they just wouldn't grow as big. You know what I mean?
Once again,
they're under pressure.
We've talked about this before on here. If you were to be able to walk on Jupiter with the size of the planet, how it rotates, just your one calf muscle would have to be the size of the Empire State Building. Yeah,
I mean, Jupiter has no surface, but I get
what I'm saying is the way
I understand how high the gravity is and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, 100%. It's nothing. Earth is, that's why they call it in the Goldilocks zone. It's just perfect. You know what I mean? It's just perfect. I love this next part. I love this one. So he said that while walking down a hallway at S4, he briefly glanced through a door window and saw what he interpreted as 2 men in lab coats facing down and talking to, quote, something small with long arms. Ugh.
Right, but he also later said
3 decades later, he said he did not think he saw an alien, but speculated that he saw a doll used as reference for the size of the alleged aliens, and that a nickname used for them were the Kids.
Dude, No Notes Ken over here today, though. Can I shout out No Notes Ken? All right, sorry.
I know the story too, buddy.
I know. Well, you do.
Lazar claims.
You always do. Fuck you. You always do.
You're welcome. Lazar's claims about S4 brought additional public attention to its supposed parent facility, Area 51, and spawned conspiracy theories regarding government knowledge of extraterrestrial life. Well, yeah. Lazar alleges that his employment and education records have been erased. Friedman Prothero and author Timothy D. Callahan find this to be implausible. Why do you find that to be implausible? No, the government's never erased anyone's. No, the government's never fucked with anybody's shit ever.
No.
There's so many examples of individuals being, targeted by the government after they've displeased them.
The simplest way to look at it is you look at local police departments who have undercover agents who fabricate, criminal histories and other stuff so they can infiltrate local gangs.
Yeah.
It gets done at a small government level every day.
Yeah, it's terror tactics. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
More recently, in 2017, Lazar's workplace was raided by the FBI and local police, which Lazar theorizes was to recover, quote, element 115, a substance he says that he took from a government lab. Records obtained through a Freedom of Information Act request show that the raid was part of a murder investigation to determine whether his company sold thallium to a murder suspect in Michigan. Lazar is not listed as a suspect in the investigation. Well, of course, that's what they said. But he's been saying that for a long time. This is one of the ones that kind of bugs me because it's like, why else? If he's a fraud, why are they showing up at his place of business, right?
Yeah.
And
it's whack-a-mole. It's whack-a-mole.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and if they thought he had some of element 115, and they're coming to recover it, that kind of like proves some of it, at least indirectly. Mm-hmm. So, as far as Bob Lazar is concerned, that's basically his story. I mean, he hasn't. People say like, oh, he's profited a lot. He hasn't though. He's not like Mr. UFO. He's not going on shows. They had to coerce him essentially to do that. What was that? Was that in what year was that? The Corbell one. Was that 2017?
Yeah, I was going to say, fucking famous fleecer, fucking Jeremy Corbell.
Ugh.
Yeah, he'll go to because even when you watch, we said this before again, when you watch him on Rogan, he goes, "Oh, tell him," he elbow him, tell him what you told me, and he's like, fuck, all right, I'll tell this again. I'm only gonna get fucking raided again for talking about it more. Like, he's like, yeah, of course, Jeremy, you get to be a fucking stupid kind of rock star with this shit, and I have to deal with all the repercussions. So it's like the more you talk, and then when you see him actually get it in with Rogan, who's genuinely interested and could maybe at some point provide some, I don't know, path to like leave this fucking guy alone.
Yeah.
Corbell is just like fucking.
We're talking about Jeremy Corbell. He's this filmmaker, martial artist. We'll put that in quotes. There's a documentary. It's called Bob Lazar, Area 51 and Flying Saucers. It's actually one of the worst documentaries ever put together. There's all this artsy bullshit in there. It pads out this whole story by using all this nonsense. And honestly, and I normally don't have people go to check this out, but if you want to hear his stuff laid out pretty well, go watch the Rogan episode because he talks pretty clearly, and he had to be coerced to go on that too, which is interesting because. Yeah. And you can hear what he has to say with, in between Corbell fucking interrupting the guy.
Yeah. The whole time.
The whole time. It's like, hey, dude, no one is here to hear you talk. Yeah. Shut the fuck up.
He's like, look at my affliction shirt, isn't it? Isn't it sick?
But they also credit the that appearance on Joe Rogan to why that the Storm Area 51 thing that happened.
Oh the Naruto run.
Yeah, they were gonna Naruto run into Area 51. What was it? They can't stop us. They can't stop all of us, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Wait, where is it? It was gonna be September 20th of 2019. Yeah. It didn't work out so well.
Yeah.
They were nice about it.
Two guys showed up. Yeah.
The guards were actually out there, like, if you walk across here, we're just gonna arrest you. And didn't they arrest like 2 or 3 people?
Yes.
Okay.
But that I think that was mostly for clout, the people that actually did get arrested, because they wanted to be the ones that were like, well, we fucking did it.
Right.
We were the ones who fucking stormed Area 51. Where
There
were
it
you
is.
pussies at?
Boots on the ground, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Right.
What? Yeah, dude, people are such fucking lunatics, man.
I know.
And who has the time? Like, who has the time?
Well, these people do, man.
Yeah, you're right.
Now the next, my favorite part of the Area 51 story is so in 1996, a documentary called Dreamland included an interview with a 71-year-old mechanical engineer who claimed to be a former employee at Area 51 during the 1950s. His claims included that he had worked on a, quote, flying disc simulator, which had been based on a disc originating from a crashed extraterrestrial craft and was used to train pilots.
Yeah.
We'll come back to that. I think that's important. He also claimed to have worked with an extraterrestrial being named J-Rod and described him as a telepathic translator.
Right, but also, if you watch his interviews, this guy, what's his name again?
Oh, geez. Give me a second.
Fuck. We don't have to have it, but if you watch Dreamland or any other of the myriad of different, documentaries, he'll pop up.
Yes,
Guy, he appears super genuine.
Yes.
The way he talks about it, it's almost sweet in the way he talks about, but not in it's not sweet in the way of he's not. It's sweet in him recollecting it. You can kind of see there's an air of when you had a job when you were younger and it was the worst of times you thought at the time, but back then you're like, oh man, that was so much better than now.
Sure.
And the way he talks about it, there's credibility there, the way, because it's not the way of oh, let me tell you else we did and this and that, and he would would sound just like you, he would say like a parrot, he would laugh, and it was just
he could apparently he could mimic, but most of his communication was through telepathy apparently. Sure. So the J-Rod tales, that's a song or an album title, initially surfaced in the 1980s, and several novels and TV series have helped to promote them. According to these tales, J-Rod was a tall, slender alien with large almond-shaped eyes, your classic gray, and it's said he was a survivor of the UFO crash in Kingman, Arizona in 1953. After the crash, J-Rod was taken to Area 51, where he helped scientists and engineers reverse engineer the alien technology. He is also said to have shared knowledge about his home planet and the universe with the U.S. government. So History Channel, of course, had a bunch of stuff about this. And according to alien author Preston Dennett, the extraterrestrial allegedly worked at Area 51 for some years. He went on that J-Rod's job was to assist in reverse engineering technology that was reportedly from the 1953 Kingman UFO crash. Given the technology that we need today, most of the electronic devices we are using today. And yeah. So I actually heard differently. I heard he survived the 53 crash. He was a survivor, and they brought him in to reverse engineer the Roswell crash stuff. Yes. So J-Rod, they don't know where the name comes from. Apparently that's just what they call him. It's probably one of these other stupid,
code names.
I'm sure it means something. But apparently it was able to communicate, apparently telepathically. You gotta love this shit. You can tell that they also pulled that from Independence Day. Yeah. Or Independence Day pulled that for them, which makes a lot of sense that's how they would communicate. Yeah, release me.
It's funny. We've said I brought this anecdote up. My mom telling me as a kid, no, they have aliens, and there was my mom telling me when I was a kid, oh no, they've had aliens, and they would talk about the end of the world, but they would do it telepathically. And I'm a little kind of what does that mean? Through their mind. And then when we went to see Independence Day, she looked over in the seat. I fucking told you. Sharon's out there.
Yeah.
She knew the goods. Sharon knew the goods.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I knew about that encounter before I saw Independence Day, and it rocked my world that my mom had secret government stories locked away.
Your mom's, we'll have to shake her down one day.
We're trying. I mean, she's like, get me in there. I'll do it. We just gotta sketch.
Yep. Yeah, just like you said.
Pull her off the penny slots for a bit.
There you go. So in an interview from 2000, his name was Bill Uhouse. This was the gentleman that we were speaking about previously, who worked there in the 1950s. In a 2000 interview, he claimed to have had direct communication with J-Rod and stated that the alien sounded just like you and tried to answer questions. The alien spoke perfect English and not an animatronic android or CGI kind of sound. The alien was real. So basically that it could speak English, but, and could communicate that way. But then also there was the telepathic component as well.
Does it mention the next whistleblower that comes out? Does it go into that?
Yeah, there's more.
Because this motherfucker, if you get to him, I go.
Are you talking about in 2004, Dan Urish, also known as Dan Crane, claimed to have worked on cloning alien viruses at Area 51, also alongside J-Rod?
It sounds familiar, but I can picture him in my mind.
Okay.
This guy with his wild fucking eyes, bald head, like the pictures of him, is him at a desk, like.
Yeah.
Yeah. That guy, don't trust him.
No.
I don't know, man.
And this is the guy, he says that he was employed as a microbiologist to care for J-Rod and ensure he stayed well. He said the government made him take tissue samples from the captured alien and claimed they became friends during the 2 years he worked on the project. Apparently he has J-Rod, this alien who lives at Area 51, possibly Area 52. He's many levels below the surface in one of these underground facilities. According to some, he's still alive. And he has his own area down there, and he's, his job essentially is to help back engineer all this stuff, and that's where all the electronics from the modern age are have all sprung from the reverse engineering of the crafts that crashed at Roswell.
I'm not gonna say it.
Say it.
Fiber optics.
What the fucking fiber optics, Ken?
I do it to you because it gets a response. If it didn't get a response, I would stop.
Okay.
But how do you like Verizon fiber optics? Is it?
I don't know. I don't use Verizon.
Well, you're missing out, buddy, because J-Rod got it right on that one, pal.
I think you would find that to be very antiquated technology. But other reports suggest that he was eventually released from Area 51 and allowed to return to his home planet.
Yeah. Yeah, he's tired of this bullshit.
But it's also possible he remains under the control of the U.S. government, perhaps in a secret facility or on a remote island, some believe. You think that's what's on Epstein's island?
No. No.
Yep.
Probably on Johnny Depp's island, if anyone's island.
An interesting kind of variation to the story that I also thought was interesting was if you go back to the remember we what was that 2-3-parter that we did on the Roswell incident?
Yeah.
Some say there were 3 bodies, right? Some say there were 3 bodies with 1 survivor, right? 1 died shortly after, but then one was a survivor that stayed on for a while. Now that's apparently that. Some people say that's J-Rod. He actually survived the Roswell crash, and then there's the details are a little muddy, but it always revolves around those 2: the Kingman crash and the Roswell crash.
Well, I mean that. I mean, it would be money, but also it would make sense. Yeah. And if this guy's the one that survives, he's obviously of superior stock to the other.
But think about this, or just lucky, just the luck of the draw. I mean, because what do we conclude? That the craft got hit by lightning, right?
Yes.
And just because as technologically advanced as they are, they can't predict lightning. And the craft got hit. It crashes. They come out. They're strewn. There's alien bodies. 1 survives. They bring it back. Now, here's what I want to have been like a fly on the wall, right? Mm-hmm. They have the alien body, and then what if their superiors come looking for them? And they come to they just step through the walls of the White House or whatever it was, or the Pentagon, and Pentagon, whatever. I'm just for illustrative purposes.
Sure.
It steps through the wall because they can manipulate.
They hit a button.
Matter.
Just
Yep.
They're in.
And they're like, where's J-Rod? What do you guys think you're doing here? Could you imagine that meeting?
Yeah, Jimmy Carter's like, I don't know.
They're like, we don't want to talk to you. We want to talk to the person in charge.
Yeah.
So do you think
and then
they
some
left?
guy, then a floor opens up, and some like high-ranking, all-black military fatigue guy comes up, and he's like, Donovan, and he's like, yes. He's like, follow me, Donovan.
It's just a head in a jar with metal tentacles. That's the person that's in charge.
Sure. Whoever it is comes up, they bring him down to J-Rod's penthouse.
Right.
You know, where he's like, yeah, what's up,
he's
guys?
fully acclimated to Earth. Earth.
He's like, do you guys know about pinball? He's like, seriously.
I don't know why, but I feel like his little pad would just be all purple velvet. I don't know why I got that idea, but
no,
that's...
it's because aesthetically, it's comfy and it looks cool.
Right.
You know, it's sick. You're like, and that's why rappers did it in like the early 2000s. They went crazy with velour and those kind of colors.
Right.
So like, because you know what, it's snappy and you can't deny it. And if you touch it, J-Rod's like, Donovan, dude. He's like, touch us. And they're like, oh shit, what have you been doing down here? It's like when Pesci shows up to Vegas to talk to to Ace.
Yeah.
He's like, holy shit, what have you been doing down here?
Yep.
And it's literally Sharon Stone with J-Rod.
Yep.
Do you hate me now? Is that what this is?
No, I don't hate you. I just I don't want to get too derailed here.
well, sorry.
No, it's well, this is Area 51, man, and I think that what we see is probably like 2% of what's down there. They've been building stuff down there. That they're ready to go. I'm sure that a lot of this stuff came out of bomb shelters and stuff. Them want to be prepared for the nuclear age, and then now it's like, well, why even build anything on the surface? Let's just bore down and just build more. Because when the shit hits the fan, all of those things they're just gonna go underground. And us schmucks up here are just gonna get left to deal with it. Well,
which is a lot of big theories now is that the UFOs are time travelers. The extraterrestrials, they moved further underground because of nuclear fallout and stuff.
No, okay.
Terrence Howard, yeah.
Oh, that idiot.
Did you see the Gold? What's his name? Not Goldman. The one scientific guy that came on after that in response. It was him, Terrence Howard, and Rogan.
Oh yeah, I watched. I suffered through all 4 hours. I was working
so
and I had
funny.
it on. It's just like the guy's. I got to give it to him that he was able to maintain he didn't piss Terrence Howard off. That was amazing because he was telling him that he's a schmuck the entire time.
Well, because he handled it within there were golden gloves the way he did it. It was beautiful.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he
verbal judo the whole time.
Yeah, an amazing job. Basically just told him, look, you got some great ideas. You got you have a large mind, and I appreciate that, but you're using all the wrong terminology. You've heard a few things. You've done your research, and you're just it's bad.
And when he told him the whatever hydroclone or whatever that thing was, he's like, that's based on a flaw. He's like, you got to realize that, your whole fundamental point of those things that exist within the space. He's like that. Yeah, that's an actual bad equation. And then when they pulled up. He's like, here's how me and the other scientific minds think about these things. He's like, can you tell me what you...
Yeah, he's like, it's basically it's not the theory of everything.
It is the theory, that's what they call it. They call it the theory or equation of everything.
Yeah. So he shows it to him and basically is like, do you know what this says? Just to, in a nice way, but just to show people, he's like, well, I know that this is this. He's like, do you know what this means? No. Do you know what this means? No.
First he started, he was like, well, the Z and the R there.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, what is that? And then and it's done. The equation's crazy, but they also give you the blurbs around it of so lesser scientific minds can kind of oh, okay, here's how we spin this into how we understand this equation. Yeah, it's been hilarious.
It has, but I think that I'm not going to go believe because believe is a word with a lot of implications, but
loaded word.
Yeah. If I'm going to put my fantastical hat on, I'm going to go and say that whatever crashed all the technology that just came out of nowhere after World War II, after the 50s, came from the craft. And I think it was recovered, and I think that Bob Lazar, whether or not he ran a ring of hookers,
high-tech hookers.
Maybe they were high-tech hookers. Maybe they could, I don't know, bend light. I don't know.
They were taking Venmo before anyone. That's what it was.
Oof. Yeah, exactly. I think he definitely worked there. I think there was, something definitely occurred there. I think that there's a lot of this reverse, engineering thing. I think there's a lot to that, honestly. Yeah. If I'm thinking about it. We cover a lot of fantastic stuff on this show.
Yeah.
But aliens, aliens having technology or us having alien technology that crashed here and we were able to reverse engineer things from it, I don't think that that's that fantastical.
No.
I actually think of all the things that we talk about, I think that's the most grounded.
Dude, yeah. And first of all, like, you think about this, like, we figured out cameras.
Yeah.
And video cameras and Wi-Fi and things that, like, imagine going back to 1950 and be like, hey, you want to see something crazy?
Yeah.
We're going to connect you to this thing that's not real.
Yeah.
But we made it real.
Yeah.
And it has all the knowledge ever there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's, what are you, a wizard? You're like, whatever, Gandalf. Like that,
right.
That would be the response.
Right.
But, yeah. With that assessment, yeah, of course, I think the leaps and bounds that have been made in times, like we said, since that happened, of course, there's something to be said. I'm not going to say cover up, but there's something to be said about how officials work their conversations around things since then, until things finally came out and they said, yes, this is a place. And then until now, where we're having, interviews in Congress.
Yeah, all this disclosure stuff, which a lot of people have, speculated that it's getting us ready. Like the disclosure stuff, it's getting us ready to like accept what they're going to announce. Which is like, look, man, when they were telling us last summer that like there were aliens and nobody gave a shit, I think that's your cue to be like, oh, I think they can handle this because shit's getting wild, and us knowing that things were gotten from alien technology. If that is real, I don't think it's that, like, I don't know, mind shattering. I don't know. Maybe it is for some people. I don't know.
Sure. Well, yeah, you can tell anyone, things that have, like, there's substantial evidence for certain things, and they'll still be like, no, not at all. You kidding me? From even if you're like, this coffee tastes better. Yeah. People will die on that hill. Like, people die on hills every day for the crazier shit than that. So, like, no. One thing, though, I did want to tell you that was funny after we decided to do this episode. Are you familiar with Chris Ramsey, the magician puzzle guy that does puzzle work?
Yeah.
He just released one. He had a $40,000. I watched it last night. $40,000 UFO puzzle.
Okay.
Super sick if you want to check it out. And it's literally all Bob Lazar stuff. And he works around it. Like, it starts with the hand sensor. And he's like going around. He has to open all this stuff and figure it out. And then here comes the big board of like all the things he has to connect.
Yes.
To figure it out. And he has to put the, element 115 in the thing to like cure it. Dude, it's really cool. And one of the envelopes he gets out of the thing, he opens up, it's Bob Lazar's ID and all this stuff. And
that's cool. I didn't see that.
I'll send you a link. I literally watched it last night. It just popped up on my YouTube feed. I was like, cool. This is fucking sick. And like, it was one of the ones that he like had to like hunker down and do for hours because it's one of the $40,000 puzzles that he had to buy, from someone who does this as like an art installation. Gotten to a point where he opens it and it's the fucking sports model, like a full sports model under the dude. It's sick.
That's cool. Like send me that. I definitely want to watch that.
And anyone else, if you want to look it up, it's Chris Ramsey. He's on YouTube. Solving a top secret UFO puzzle part 2, or no, actually it's solving $40,000 UFO puzzle part 1 and 2, and it's really cool. And before we get out of here, one last thing. Me and Jay we're thinking about doing a watch party. Or but we so here's what we're thinking. We could have a group, maybe 20 to 30 people join like a Zoom meeting or something like that. We'll do like a ticket sale kind of deal. We could either do a Q&A where we all come in, share our paranormal stories, or share our ideas on the paranormal, or maybe we just all pick a horror movie to watch, or an episode or two of Ghost Hunters,
or maybe all of the above. We'll get one to work, and then if one works, we'll keep it going.
Right.
We're just
we're
trying to do some more interesting stuff.
Yeah, and we're trying to see what you guys would like to do. Maybe start off with a Q&A session. Everyone comes in, we all chill, maybe have some drinks, talk, do it over via Zoom, and let us know what you guys think, what your ideas are, and we'll suss it out and we'll let everyone know.
Yep.
But I think that's all we got for Area 51.
I mean, we'll never be done with Area 51.
Right, but for this episode, we're done with it.
So Ken, I mean, we got to put it up. Bob Lazar, Chum Bucket or ODP Cannon?
ODP Cannon.
Absolutely. Yep.
Just for the high-tech brothel alone, I'll give him credit for figuring it out before anyone else did.
Yep. And all this shit terrifies me.
Yeah. Oh, it's monumental. That's the thing. It's just like an archaeological dig that finds it's the stuff of dreams. That's what. But all right, guys. For this episode of Other Dangerous Podcast, once again, sorry for the wait. Life gets busy. We're trying to work things in a way that makes it beneficial for everyone, us and the audience. And that being said, I've been Ken James.
And I've been Jason McKittrick.
And as always, have a spooky evening. Thank you for listening to Other Dangerous Podcasts. Have you encountered the other dangers? If so, you can email us at otherdangerouspodcast@gmail.com. And if you'd like to have a discussion about the paranormal, you can find us at Other Dangerous Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. There you can find submitted pictures, videos, and artwork from listeners. We are now streaming on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else podcasts are streamed. And after listening, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so we can continue to bring you the other dangers.